Hello and welcome to this year's last video. 2025 is almost over and I'm gonna take a holiday break and I'll see you next year. So, what better way to end the year than 5 things that you can make yourself, little Christmas tools that you can give away to yourself, maybe, as a well-deserved present for being good and building all those cool things that you did over the year. These are 5 tools that you can make yourself that are not that hard to make and that you can decide how much time you want to spend on to make them perfect. The tools that I'm showing you now, some of them they might look a little wonky, but you can, buy a nice piece of ebony or whatever and make the tool out of that and make it look really nice. And some of them, they can become really nice gifts for someone. And yeah, I personally think this is a great idea because I really like to get like a knife with a handle that someone has made for me. I think that looks adorable and cute. I have a couple of knives where I've made the handle myself. You buy a blade and you put a handle on it. So I think that's a great idea, but it doesn't have to be a knife. You can do that with other things as well. So for example, first tool on this list is a fret end file. If you've seen my shorts lately, I've used this quite recently on a guitar that for some weird reason the parts that I need are not showing up, so hopefully I'll be able to get it done this year, but it doesn't look like it will happen. Kind of bummed out about that because I ordered the parts several weeks ago, but anyway, all you need is a file, and as long as it's a metal file and it's fine tooth, which you can find anywhere, all you have to do is you have to just sand one of the edges off. It doesn't have to be a triangle file like this. It's great if it is, but it honestly doesn't have to be. The only thing that matters is it's not, so thick of a file that it can't go in between the 23rd and 24th fret. But it's not going to be hard to find a file that is thin enough to fit there. Anyway, you just need to sand one side smooth so that it doesn't dig into the fretboard. And you don't have to make a handle for it, but I suggest that with all these tools, especially if you're going to make them gifts, that you make nice handles for them so that the person looks at them and say, "Wow, you made this for me," and they get all happy. Because when that happens, you know they're gonna appreciate the tool. So yes, and if you're a guitar builder and you have other guitar builders around you, they are gonna pick that tool up and think of you every time because that's great. And it's super easy to make. Like, I know you can buy fret end files at, for example, StuMac, and they are probably really nice, but you can make one from a file that you bought at your local hardware store, and it will last whoever you're giving this to the better half of their life. So yeah, this one is the first one. Okay, so the next tool, which I hope you're all gonna get because it's one of those tools that you might think you don't need until you need it, and then you're gonna be really grateful that you have it, is you can make your own super tiny little chisel. This one I use, sadly not as often as I wish I would do, but I really like it. When I made more custom build guitars before I started the YouTube channel, this one was busted out all the time. And it's really easy to make. All you need is one of these Allen keys that you get with everything nowadays, and you cut this weird thing off and you plane this down, you sand it down, however you want to shape it, and then you just sharpen it into a point. And you get the size that is the closest to the size you need. So these are obviously two different, but this one will show up on the camera, at least I hope it will. There you go. And you make a little... Anyway, that is This is actually a really nice tool, and especially if you have woodworkers or people around you that, you know, do smaller things, you know, this is good. And it doesn't have to be like super hardened steel. Obviously that is nice, and if you have the, you know, capability of, you know, heating up metal and temperaturing it so that it gets all nice, you can do that. But honestly, this is used for so small pieces of wood and just working my way into very, very small corners and things like that, that it doesn't need to be this super hard thing. It's, you know, it's hardened steel already. It doesn't need to be any more fancy than that. You're not gonna build an entire table using this. Or maybe you are, but then you're... Alright, so the next tool is a little bit more involved. It takes a little bit longer to make, but, you know, maybe just 2 or 3 hours, you know. And it's one of these giant clamps. I made this for my sister, and it's a really nice tool. The reason why you want something with a small head but a long piece like this is because I can clamp this into a vise, I can hold this between my legs, and I can clamp something small. A lot of finer details on guitars are tiny and small. I can open this up and I can just put something in here, like a little inlay or something. Just hold it in place, screw it down, and it's held in place here in between these, and I can just sit here with a small little file, you know, and just get those small little details carved out. You know, you buy some local hardware store hardwood, nothing, you know, super fancy, but also nothing super, you know, you don't need mahogany or ebony for this. You can make it out of that if you want to, but I think it's a little waste. You just 2 long boards, a hinge in the back, some sort of screw mechanism. This is, you know, just a screw in a handle. I used this old toy handle because it's a little bit vintage, and I thought she would enjoy that, which she did. So, and you can make a handle that is super fancy, that has the person's initials on it or something. And then, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, I have a piece of leather on the inside to soften whatever it is that's getting clamped, because she's working with fragile things. And I made a little thing that covers up the screw, so she doesn't have to screw on both sides. She only needs to use one side, and the other side is fixed. You need to elongate the hole on this side so that it follows the curving that is happening as the blade gets further away. The angles change, is what I mean. And this is great. And it's one of those things that if you're making guitars, or if you're making something that is smaller and more fragile, it's a great thing to have. So that's easy make. You can make it as nice or fancy or beautiful as you want to, and whoever you're giving it to, or, you know, even if you're giving it to yourself, it's gonna turn out great. This is good. If you have a woodworker in your life and you know, you want to start building guitars, for example, you can send this video to them and say just like, you know, here are 5 tools that maybe I will need, and I promise you, if they make them for you, you're gonna be happy. So I don't know what this video is, but yeah. Whoa, okay, so next tool are tiny little knives with just one bevel. Most knives you'll find, you know, they're sort of shaped like this from the side, but it's really nice to have one like this, where you just have one bevel on one side. Now you need 2, one with a bevel on one side and one with a bevel on the other, and all you need to do is just find a piece of like flexible, I think is the best steel, and then you just you know, reshapen it into a little knife. And as long as you're going slow and you're not overheating the metal, it will keep a little springiness to it. These have a little springiness to it. It's very easy to find. You find it in almost anything. And yeah, you just make a little knife. So you don't have to have this size. You do something that you feel is comfortable with. And these are great. I use these all the time. If you've watched my videos, you've noticed that I use these all the time. And it's because I can lay them up against something and follow along, and I know that they will follow exactly. If you have a knife that is beveled on both sides, you'll get like a millimeter away from whatever corner or whatever it is you're trying to follow. If you have a template, for example, that you're trying to follow, you'll get away from it with a mill, and that will add up as you go around and everything. So having a knife like this, I like, you can make them out of scrap, you can make them out of a broken old whatever. It doesn't have to be fancy. You're just gonna sharpen it and use it. And you can obviously forge them if you feel like it, but you don't have to, because it's unnecessary. You just need something that can scrape and be sharp. You know, just cut a little line. It's gonna be great. But they're really good to have. So make yourself a set of these, 2, one angled right, one angled left, and just... Alright, so the next one is an awl. Now this is an awl that I've bought, and I do like it, but they come in standard sizes, and they're, for guitar building, they're not almost always too thick. As you can see, this one is like a 6, maybe even 7. Yeah, 6 millimeters. And if you make templates and you're gonna poke through holes in templates, like if you look at here, you see these holes, they're all way too small for that template. And the thing is, yeah, sure, you could drill these out to be 6 mils, but then you have wiggle room inside of them and the template won't be as accurate. You want the holes to be as small as they can possibly be, within reason. I mean, obviously, if I made all of these like 1 mil, it would be really, really hard to get in there. But you can actually, you know, you can either buy an awl, for example, and then modify it and reshape it and just file it down and make it smaller. This one has taken so much abuse, so it's a little bit crooked because I use this all the time. And then you make a handle. Now, again, this one I made and it looked really nice back in the day when I made it. I dyed it green and I had a little piece of copper with an inlay on top here, and it was so nice, so, you know. It's one of my first tools I ever made, and I've been using it so much over the past... How long have I been building guitars? 15 years or something? I don't know. I'm getting old, man. I feel the pain. Anyway, my point is, if you have someone that works with wood, or if you have someone who builds guitar, or wants to build guitar, this is like a really inexpensive tool to make. And they're gonna have to use it every day, basically, because these standard ones, they're very good to have. So you need one of these as well for certain times. But if you're making templates, if you're working through templates to poke holes and make lines and things like that, a specialized, even thinner one that is off standard and, you know, 3 mil or something. Let's see. Yeah, 3 mil. That's, you know, really, really good. So yeah. Anyway, woo. That's 5 tools I think are really good and nice. And if you spend some extra time making them look really nice, then whoever you're giving them to, for whatever reason, is gonna just love them. And you can specialize the handles, for example, to make them really comfortable and fit the person, you know. It's also special if you have like issues with your hands, for example. You know, making tools with extra big handles, for example, can be a nice thing. Just throwing that out here and at the end. I think it's good. You should think it's good too. Make some tools. Give somebody a tool. Yeah. All of these, you know, they're made from scrap pieces. They're made from things I have laying around. You know, I don't know if any of them have cost any real money at all. I had, for example, some old files laying around that I had inherited, and I just took one of them that I felt like I'm never going to use it. It doesn't even have a handle, and I just reshaped it. And now I use it all the time. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I want to thank all of you that are subscribed for hanging out with me throughout 2025. It's been really fun to make videos for you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the videos. Maybe not all of them, because some of them are maybe not that good, but at least 1 or 2 of them were good. So I hope you guys had a lot of fun hanging out with me. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. I want to thank all the new subscribers for investing their time in this channel. It's been great to see the growth that the channel has had over the year. For example, we did reach 4,000 subscribers, woo! Which is always fun to see. I hope we can get to 5 next year. We need 900 more of you next year for that to be possible, because I think we're already past 4,000 and I've gotten to 4,100. But anyway, subscribers isn't the only thing that matters. The engagement and the fun and the joy is more important, but it is fun to see the channel grow. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next year. I'll try to get a video done as soon as possible, so I have a video for the beginning of next year. So yes, I had a little bit of issues. I was gonna make a pedal video before this, but I had to throw this one together quick. The pedal is gonna come. It's just that I had a little bit of an issue and I had to order things and they are not showing up. I try to make sure I have, you know, good amount of time frame for making videos. But it's just not happening this year. I don't know why. Nothing is working. But hopefully 2026 is going to be a better year. We'll see what happens. I have some fun things coming. So yeah, I'll make a video about that next year, and hopefully you guys will watch that. That's enough rambling and whatever. I'm gonna go and celebrate Christmas, and I'll be back next year. I hope you guys are gonna have an enjoyable, awesome time. No matter what it is you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you still manage to have fun and enjoy yourself. Get some good relaxation in. Maybe build a guitar or a pedal or something, you know, just be creative and having fun. And I'll talk to you guys next year. Anyway, until next time, don't forget to stay awesome and cool. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you.